Part 2, students, to the homework help video, page 378, numbers 3, 4, and 41 through 47. Let's jump right into this. Number 3, the directions say to find the geometric mean of 3 and 6. Well, remember, we did look at a formula that helps us or enables us to find the geometric mean. Alright, so the geometric mean, my A and my B are 3 and 6. So the geometric mean is the square root of 3 times 6. That would be the square root of 18. Now, I know their answer is square root of 18. I disagree with that from now on. I always want you guys simplifying your radicals as far as they can go. So if I broke down 18 into prime factors, I would get 2 times 3 times 3. Okay? It's a square root, so I'm looking for sets of 2. Cross off your 2 3's, put a 3 on the outside. Your answer is 3 square root of 2. That is the geometric mean of 3 and 6. Number 4, I want you to find the distance by using Pythagorean's theorem. Okay, now I know that I didn't teach you that, but let's see if we can't figure it out, okay? Go ahead and plot the 2 points over 6, up 1. So there's 6, 1 right there. The other point is negative 2, positive 5. So negative 2, 5, okay? So there is my my 2 points that I'm trying to find the distance between. Now, when they asked you to find the distance between these 2 points using Pythagorean's theorem, let's draw a right triangle. Let's go straight down, just like rise over run, okay? Straight down, and then straight over. And actually, it's supposed to be up to point 1 right there, and there we go. Alright, there. Now, I can find the height of this right triangle. I started here because I know the point's 6, 1 over 6, up 1. And I know this point is up here at 5 because it's over 2 and up 5. So the height would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Start here and go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start here and go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the height of the right triangle is 4. Now, the length would start right here at negative 2 and go to positive 6. Let's count the distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or you could start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Either way, the length would be 8. So now you know what to do. One leg is 4. The other leg is 8. The hypotenuse is what we're looking for. 4 times 4 is 16. 8 times 8 is 64. Add these two together and we get 80. Take the square root of both sides. The square root of 80 would be the square root of 80. Normally you would put plus minus, but since we're dealing with a length or a distance, there's not going to be any negative numbers. The square root of 80 is the square root of 80. The square root of 8 squared is 8. Now we can simplify this. If you broke 80 up into prime factors, you would get 2, 2, 2, 2, and 5. Okay? Well, it's a square root, so we're looking for sets of 2. Here's a set of 2. Put a 2 outside. Set. Put a 2 on the outside. 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 5. So there we go. We found the distance between 2 points using Pythagorean's theorem. Now that's a lot longer than using your distance formula. With the distance formula, we would have just put those numbers in and subtracted, squared, taken the square root, and we would have been done. It would have been, here's 1x, here's the other x. It would have been 6 minus negative 2, that's 8. 8 squared is 64. And then here's your y, it'd be 1 minus 5. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. Add those two together and you get 80. But over here we had to plot the points and draw the triangle and all of that. But still you kind of see now where the distance formula came from. It came from by the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, moving on to number 41. Find the geometric mean. I'm sorry, the geometric mean of 2 and x is 3 square root of 6. So we're going to solve for x. So the geometric mean is 3 square root of 6. My a and b are 2 and x. So 2 times x. Now, I don't want these radicals, so I have to square both sides. Square one side, square the other side. Notice we don't just square the radicals, we square the sides. Well, when you square a square root, you just get the radicand. But we also have to square the 3, that's 9. And these two are multiplying, so they're still multiplying. We square the square root, we get the radicand, 2x. So we have 54 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and 17 equals x. So my other number is, oh, I'm sorry, not 17. That's funny. 54 divided by 2 is 27. So there's the answer, 27. Alright, let's try another one. Okay, same formula again. The geometric mean equals the square root of a times b. The geometric mean of x into 6. So those are your two numbers. So 6 times x. The geometric mean is 4 square root of 3. Now, we don't want these radicals on the problem, so we're going to square both sides. When you square a square root, you get the radicand. But you also have to square the 4, that's 16, and they're multiplying. Over here we square the square root, which leaves us with 6x. Okay? 16 times 3 is 48. So I have 48 equals 6x. Divide both sides by 6, and 8 equals x. So your other number is 8. Alright, not too bad. Alright, let's find the distance between these 2 points. Let's find the distance between these 2 ordered pairs. Copy this so we can use it over and over. And here we go. Here's an x and an x. So we have 0 minus 1 quantity squared. Here's my y and my y. So we have 1 minus 5 quantity squared. So let's see, 0 minus 1 is negative 1. When you square negative 1, you get a positive 1. Plus 1 minus 5 is negative 4. When you square negative 4, you get 16. So 1 plus 16 is 17. The distance is the square root of 17, and no, excuse me, that cannot be broken down, okay? Now, if I asked you to write that in decimal form, then you'd have to type into your calculator and get out a decimal, okay? Alright, number 44. Alright, let's find the distance between these 2 points, alright? Sorry, excuse me, here's my x and my x. So negative 2 minus 3. Here's my y and my y. So 6 minus 6. Now, negative 2, negative 3 is negative 5. When you square a negative 5, you get 25. 6 minus 6 is 0. When you square 0, you get 0. 25 plus 0 is 25. And the square root of 25 is a whole number. It's simply 8 or 5. Excuse me, 5. So, the answer is 5. So the distance, the length between these 2 points is 5 units. Alright, number 45. Here's my x, here's my x, so 3 minus 9. Here's my y and my y, so 7 minus a negative 1. Well, let's see, 3 minus 9 is negative 6. When you square a negative 6, you get 36. 7 minus a negative 1 is 7 plus 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 squared is 64. Add those two together, and you will get 100. So we have the square root of 100, which is a perfect square. The square root of 100 is a whole number. It's 10. Okay? And the last 2 problems are probably the most difficult. I'll only give you 2 of these because they do take a little bit of time, okay? Alright, here we go. We're going to solve for x. So notice what they've given us here is they've given us two ordered pairs, but one of the ordered pairs is missing a number. Okay, so we're going to find that number that will give us this distance right here. And so students, here we go. Now let's make some substitutions. Remember, distance equals this. So for my distance, I'm going to put 3 square root of 2, okay? Over here, I'm going to put x minus x. That's 5 minus x. So 5 minus x quantity squared plus y minus y. Well, here's my y and my y. So negative 8 minus negative 11 squared. Now let's do a little simplifying here under the radical real quick. First of all, 5 minus x, there's not a lot I can do, okay? However, I can do some simplifying here. Negative 8 minus a negative 11. Remember, we're solving for x, okay? So let's first simplify as far as we can, then we'll go from there. Negative 8 minus a negative 11 is negative 8 plus 11. Well, that's 3. And 3 squared is 9. So that's about as far as I can go. Now, next, I don't like these radicals, so I'm going to square this side. And I'm going to square this side to get rid of the square roots, okay? Now, when you square a square root, you're left with the radicand. But notice you also square the 3. That's a 9. And they're multiplied, okay? Do you see that? Okay, we're squaring this, and we're squaring this. Now, you could not do that if there was a plus or a minus sign here. That would give you 2 terms. But since we have 1 term, we can square both of these. So really what we're going to end up with here is 18. 9 times 2. Now, when you square the square root, you're left with the radicand, which is this right here. Alright, there we go. Now guys, this is way back. I'm going to get a new screen up here. This is way back in the first semester. But you know what? Once I show you this, you should remember this. Remember the procedure called completing the square. Now don't pass out. We're not going to do that, okay? But do you remember that? And when you were done completing the square, you have something like this. X minus 5 quantity squared equals, I don't know, 17. And remember what I told you to do? I told you to take this. Do you remember this? You should. I told you to get rid of the squared. Take the square root, but if you take the square root of one side, take the square root of the other side, put a plus minus. Okay? That should hopefully ring a bell. That's from completing the square. So if you have a group that is squared, here's my group that's squared. If you want to get rid of that too, get this all by itself and then take the square root of both sides. So going back a page. Look guys, I've got the same thing. If I can bring this positive 9 over and make it a negative 9, look what I'm left with. 9 equals, look at this, 5 minus x quantity squared, look. So to solve this, I'm really home free. To solve this, I can just simply take the square root of both sides. Now if I take the square root of 9, don't forget to put plus minus. Wait, Mr. Earhart, you don't put plus minus, we're dealing with distance. Now hold on a second. Distance has to be positive, yes, you're right. But we're not solving for distance, we're solving for x. And x can be positive or negative. So you do need the plus minus. Take the square root of one side, take the square root of the other side. Now the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of this expression, well, the square root cancels out the square, leaving you with 5 negative x. Now, bring the 5 over. We're solving for x. Bring the 5 over and make it negative. So now we have plus minus 3 negative 5 equals negative x. Okay? Now let's not worry about the negative x just yet, okay? Just hold on a second. Let's simplify this side a little further over here, okay? I really have this. I have positive 3 minus 5 equals negative x, right? There it is, right? Then I also have what? Negative 3 minus 5 equals one scenario is with a positive 3, and one scenario is with a negative 3. So I have to write two different scenarios, okay? Now, 3 minus 5 is negative 2, so negative 2 equals what? Negative x, so what's 2 equal? X. Negative 3, negative 5, that's negative 8 equals negative x. So then 8 equals x. So Mr. Arrow, you tell me we have two different answers. Well, first of all, let's check the answers there. And secondly, yes, watch this, guys. This is so cool. Watch this. Please watch this carefully. See this ordered pair 5, negative 8. I'm going to erase all this right here. So pause the video if you're not done copying this down. I want to show you something, okay? Now watch this carefully. I want to show you something. Okay, now look. See the order pair 5, negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now here's my ordered pair right there. Got it? Now students, watch. We're saying one value for x is 2, right? So I'm going to go positive 2, negative 11. See this 2 right here? Goes in for x. So 1 ordered pair is 2, negative 11. 2, negative 8, 9, 10, 11 right here. Now the other ordered pair is 8, 8, negative 11. Alright? So 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, negative 11 right here. Is not the distance from here to here probably the same as from here to here? Sure it is. And that's why you have two answers, guys. Okay? Look, think about it. Come on, students, look. If 5, negative 8 is my ordered pair that they give me, and I draw a line at negative 11 like this, an imaginary line, is there not going to be 2 points on that line that's equal distance from that point there? Sure there would be, and that's why you have two answers. Now, everything I just said is probably mega confusing, but you know what? Here's the good news. You don't have to understand everything that I just said, do you? All you have to be able to do is solve the equation. Some of you understood why, and some of you didn't, and that's fine. Let's do one more and we're finished, okay? Here it is. You can work ahead or watch me. Okay, here's my distance formula. Distance equals this, okay? Now, here we go. My distance is square root of 53. For my x, I'm going to put negative 3, negative 10. So I'll put that right here, negative 3, negative minus a negative 10. Negative 3 minus a negative 10. Here's my x and my x. That would be negative 3 plus 10, which is 7, and 7 squared is 49. Alright? Now, here's my y and my other y. I'm not sure why they put an x here. That's really confusing. Yeah, they should have called this a y. They really should have, in my opinion. I'm going to use a y. So 2 minus y. 2 minus y. So I have plus 2 minus y quantity squared. Okay? Now, let's first of all get rid of our square roots. I'm going to square this side, and I'm going to square this side, okay? Square a square root, you're left with the radicand. Square a square root, and you're left with the inside, or the radicand. Now, let's get this squared group all by itself. Bring the 49 over, it's a positive 49. Make it negative, and we're left with 4 equals 2 minus y quantity squared. Now you know what to do. To get rid of this 2, we're going to take the square root of this side. But if you take the square root of one side, you must take the square root of the other side. Okay? So, the square root of 4 is 2, so we have positive negative 2. And here, the square root and the square kind of cancel out, leaving you with 2 negative y. Okay? Now, let's get us some more space here. I've got two scenarios. I have an equation that has a positive 2. And I have an equation with a negative 2. Now, bring the 2 over and make it a negative 2. And we're left equals negative y. And of course, that means 0 equals y. Here, bring your 2 over, make it a negative 2. I get negative 4 equals negative y. If negative 4 equals negative y, then 4 equals y. And there we go. There's my two answers, 0 and 4. Guys, I really hope this homework help video has been a help to you. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to call or email.